Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office investigation into alleged animal abuse offenses at the Cypress Arrow Kennel and Canine Academy in Lena has concluded and has been submitted to the District Attorney's office. That case was turned in last month, but clerk of court minutes reflect that a prosecutor has not yet been assigned to the case, nor has it gone to a grand jury. The investigation stems from videos of dogs allegedly being mistreated at the facility surfaced last August. The owner of the facility, Tina Fry, and her daughter Victoria Brimer were both arrested and face aggravated cruelty to animal charges. A civil lawsuit brought by former Cypress Arrow clients seeking damages was set to have a hearing in March, but it was continued without date.